Good evening. It is Saturday, August 22nd, 2026. My name is Jake Maaske, and this is the Debateless Weekly News Recap, your choice of alternative media. Follow us at Debateless on X, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, and subscribe if you like what you see on YouTube and Rumble. Let's not waste any time. I have a lot to get into, starting with our first one here in the Florida primary. Let's get the obvious out of the way. Fishbeck got rolled, didn't even get second. Rough outing. Last week, I figured that the youth would be in favor of Fishbeck, and as you got older, he'd become less and less popular, which was somewhat true. Out of those under age 35, Fishbeck did win 30%, but Donalds won 32%, so he wasn't even the most popular. As you got older, Fishbeck did dwindle. That was true. And here's the problem. Here's a huge problem. The kids don't vote. Gen Z does not vote. You would see results from colleges in Florida on campus, and they were pathetic. It was dozens of votes. Not hundreds, not thousands, dozens. That is pitiful. Now, I figure it was either rush week or syllabus week. I think it was rush week during the time, and that is a terrible time because nobody gives a shit about politics when they're hungover from the night before. They're planning on pre-gaming for partying that night. Terrible timing for that. But that isn't even the biggest problem here. That's just a side point that, it happened to be rush week. Point is, Gen Z, and this includes me, including myself, has had all of this talk about how we're going to get it right. We have the platform. We have the mentality. But it's like, do we? Not yet, at least. Clearly, boomers still run elections. Why? Because they vote. Here's a big problem, too. Gen Z doesn't trust elections. 33% of young Americans don't trust our elections will be legit in the year 2026. That is a problem. Many don't think their vote matters. Many are black-pilled. Many are so worried about Zog that they don't even give a shit. A lot don't give a shit in general. There are a ton of people out there who do not care about politics at all. And yeah, that's how you lose, right? There's no reason the party shifts dramatically if there isn't an incentive to. And unfortunately now in swing states, the only way for America First to send a message would be to vote for Democrats, which I would not advise, by the way. That is a terrible idea. I think in this case, you have to take the L, learn from it, and move on. I understand Vivek. Like, that's just a lose-lose situation in Ohio. Like, you don't want to vote for the Jewish Democrat, the Jewish lady. You really, Indian versus Jew, have fun. Poor Ohio. And it's, you aren't going to do that. Write in Kanye or whatever if you live in Ohio. That's just a rough scene. And in Florida, having Donalds isn't the end of the world. This isn't Ohio. Speaking of Vivek, Donalds and Fishbeck had similar views on the H-1B visas. So, that probably isn't going to be much different if Fishbeck did win. Now, for Fishbeck himself, let's dive into this. What he did well, high energy, definitely put in the effort. 16 events in one day. We talked about that last week. That's incredible. That is determination. Decent speaker. Didn't spurg out too much. Too much. That's what's really separated him from Casey Putsch, is Casey Putsch had a spurg out early in the year. He was freaking out about Israel, Epstein, all that. Crushed his chances of winning, even with an easier opponent, Vivek. And so not bad for a new guy, Fishbeck. First time running for something, gets 10%, could be a lot worse, right? Especially going up against not only a Trump-endorsed candidate, which I've talked about before. A Trump endorsement is almost an auto victory. I think right now it's hitting at 96% in primaries. This year, it's always been 92% or better. But a Trump-endorsed candidate who raised over $100 million, which is insane. Odds were definitely stacked against the guy. Now, there's some good stuff. Let's talk about his mistakes, because there's plenty. Like many before him, he got wrapped up in the social media tunnel. We saw this with Thomas Massey, for example. Just taking too much of that sweet, sweet digital heroin. Again, the third world can interact with social media now. It can throw you off, all because you have posts that are getting likes, getting retweets, whatever. Doesn't mean that you are going to win an election. You see this with El Said right now in Michigan. for example, that is a great example because he's doing very well on social media. But again, people from Pakistan are liking his shit 100%. It also appeared that just sometimes for Fishbeck, he would just say shit whenever it was popular. Data centers were a big one. It was started being a hot thing in January. He was on it, anti-Israeli rhetoric, very popular right now. He just let you know how it felt, even though he doesn't really have any power if he were to be governor when it comes to our relations with Israel. So, Also, smelled a little grifty at points. I'm going to admit that. There are old clips of him saying pro-Israeli rhetoric only a few years back, which, interesting, not a good look. The whole 23andMe ordeal, if you know what I'm talking about that, where said he was going to show the people his genetic makeup, because that's a popular thing on the far right. Never did. Many suspect it's because he has Jewish blood himself. Very ironic. Some weird history with finances are mixed in there with Fishbeck's past. Kind of checks out, doesn't it? The sex trafficking allegations against Donald's, at the last second, kind of an obvious act of desperation. You don't really do that if you think you're going to win. So far, it's been memory hold, that event, but I don't know for how long. Now, where do we go from here? That's a good question to ask, because at least in swing states, we aren't going to see another America First candidate or self-proclaimed America First candidate until 2028. They got wiped. Now, in other states, this is something I haven't mentioned because I mostly just focus on the swing states here. In other states, you did have Zach Lane of Iowa win his primary for governor on an America First platform. He was relatively been under the radar, a lot like my home state in Nebraska. No one really gives a shit. The public aren't looking in our direction. But something to note with Iowa too, although not a swing state, that race is relatively 50-50 right now with Rob Sand. Rob Sand is the Democratic candidate for governor. So we'll see. He's up a few percent. Rob Sand, he's up a few percent in the polls. We'll see how he does, Lane. But he's also, another big thing about Lane, he hasn't played too much into the social media game. And so far, it's gone well because he's not huge on social media. He has a decent following, but he's not super reliant on it. But that will be a big test in general. We will get to see a test in a general election. How does a self-proclaimed AF candidate do in a general election? Does he beat the Democrat? You know what I mean? I think his platform is Iowa First. Not much different from AF, right? But like I said, where do we go from AF? Or where do we go from here? And like I said last week, the kids are most undoubtedly taking notes. I think we will get a better wave come 2028. Yes, I know it's hard to believe. We can do better than Putsch and Fishbeck. Crazy, I know. I can't tell you how successful they're going to be, depending if the Gen Z gets out and votes next time. If they don't vote, they're fucked. It's that simple. Because the party isn't going to adapt if you don't vote. It's not hard to freaking wrap your mind around. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Fishbeck again in the future. Who knows where we are at that point, though. But I do think we have a better crew of self-proclaimed AF candidates by 2028. Oh, yeah. Almost forgot. Before I forget, Dan Bilzerian actually didn't do terrible. Surprisingly. He did better than Fishbeck, percent-wise. Granted, he had an easier opponent. A lot of people don't care for Randy Fine. I don't like Randy Fine, I'm going to vote for one of the other names. That probably happened a lot, but clearly not enough. And of course, Bilzerian is already crying cheater. He said, the election was stolen from me. And I guess he wants to run for president now. Sure, man. Sure. Okay. Fucking clown. We need less of this. Less of that. Which I think we'll get. I think we will get. I think the candidates of the future will be, at least somewhat familiar with the political world and not Mr. Red-pilled yesterday like Dan Bilzerian. So I'm optimistic on that front. And again, it's not the end of the world that Donald's one man. Relax. You can only control what you can control in your life, right? I don't think Donald is going to ruin America. Yes, it would have been fun. It would have been exciting if Fishbeck would have been able to move on, but he didn't. It's fine. Relax on the blackpilling. And quit saying vote for the Democrat in Florida. Shut up. Don't be a bitter loser, okay? Don't be saying that. Bad signals, terrible signals. Grow up. It's not like you were going to vote anyway, right? Whatever. Okay. Moving on from that, because that was a big one. That was a big one, 100%. Let's move to some war updates. These are somewhat minor. We have Trump, I say minor, and we have Trump talking about an economic D-Day. But yes, Trump threatens Iran with quote-unquote economic D-Day, adding pressure on Iran, well, economically, sanctions and whatnot. This isn't new stuff. You know, we've been sanctioning them for a long time. We're obviously trying to choke them out internally. I've gone through this classic move where you try to cause uproar inside the country you're going against. They have uprising. They can't look externally anymore. They have to focus internally. Whatever. We've been sneaking out millions of barrels of oil from the Strait. Talked about this too. Not much new here. There was a report. We'll go to... Oh, no, I must have lost it. Oh, we're going to stay here. We're going to stay here. There was a report of the USS George Washington arriving in the Middle East to relieve the USS Lincoln. Saw pictures of inside the boat. It did look gross. Trust me, our sailors are fine. Our military is tough, right? I remember what was it? I don't remember what the event was, but we had military men sleeping in parking garages in D.C. I don't remember if there was an uproar or exactly the event. And I remember asking one of my buddies in the military, he's like, what's up with that? Because the right wing was pissed. They're like, we got to treat our soldiers better, which I'm all for. I like it when our soldiers get treated well. But he tells me, he's like, what do you think, we're pussies? We're trained for this shit. This just, like he was like talking to me like I'm an idiot. It's like, who gives a shit? They're tough. The point is, they are tough, okay? They're tougher than you and me. I promise you that. But in terms of Iran, it is getting to that mark. I said end of summer, the beginning of fall. That's about where we are right now. We'll find out, to clarify, when I think the war will conclude. We'll find out if my prediction is correct or not soon enough. It's getting down to the wire, though. I might be looking a fool here soon, but I could come in and sneak in with a little backdoor cover. Who knows? Now, as I accidentally leaked, I haven't dived too much into Ukraine, Russia yet. Like at all, recently. It just hasn't been up there. It's been going on for 4 years. But this does give me a good excuse to dive into it. So yeah, bombs still raining from the skies. 4 years after the war began. It's been going on forever. Civilian targets are the norm here. For example, Russia bombed a mall recently, which is insane. Everyone around, this is crazy. Everyone around the world condemns the attacks, but like nothing ever comes out of it. Like, yeah, we know war crime this, war crime that. The rules of war are determined by the victors, or in this case, those with strength to do so. This is common knowledge. Even Mr. Red Pilled yesterday knows that in regards to that one war that everyone talks about all the time. Now, I will give you just a little brief rundown on the Ukraine war, just because I haven't talked about it like at all yet. So first and foremost, biggest point, this is a brother war by definition. Whites are just mindlessly slaughtering each other in nasty fashion. There is tons of drone footage that has come out the last 4 years. Terrifying stuff where you'll just see dudes praying in the middle of a field and you're at the point of view of a drone and you just slowly stalk him, blow up right in his face, good night. Welcome to hell. Trench warfare at points as well. Trench warfare in the 21st century is fucking insane. And what makes it even worse is not much land has been acquired or lost at all in the last 4 years. They're just ethnically destroying each other, killing each other to kill each other. Now, there's lots of theories as to why. Today, I'm not going to go deep into it, maybe in the future. Mostly Great Replacement related. You have Ukrainian women fleeing to the west while their men get kidnapped and thrown into vans to fight and die. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, there's plenty of footage of Ukrainian officials coming in, pretty much kidnapping dudes, throwing them into vans. You're going to go fight and die for this war. There's just a lot of disturbing footage surrounding that war. Plenty. There's an endless supply. Before you go into it, you definitely have to harden your hearts a little bit. Because it is tough. Like, I mean, it's just gross reality. And lots of the controversy of us funding Ukraine is more hidden because of, well, you know, recent conflicts. We're still sending packages every now and then, not near as regular as we were, you know, in 2022 and 2023 when it was all the buzz. But just a gross scene in general, Ukraine, Russia. Terrible, like, brother war, man. What the fuck are we doing type of shit. Who knows when it'll end, too? Like, you want to talk about endless wars? That's one right now. But yeah, I know I'm late to the punch on that one. Figured I'd throw it in there because it is very prominent. Geopolitics. Yeah, one of the notable wars right now. Moving on. I can't believe we're still on this, by the way, with Karmelo Anthony. But he was denied a retrial. This was all the noise, too, all the uproar. To nobody's surprise, he was denied a retrial. Got some little extra going on here with reports coming out of messages of Anthony claiming that he was on the verge before the murder and how he wanted to lick the blood off his knife. Damn, that's hard, son. Boy, that's fucking tough. Black activists are amplifying old reports of Metcalf engaging in racist activity, you know, pro-Hitler messaging, the naughty no-no word that you can't say, as if that justifies the murder. Because that is the mentality. Like, that is the mentality of not only the left, but black nationalists alike. If you are racist, which everyone in the world is, by the way, white people are the least racist. There are numbers backing this up. You deserve to die. That is the idea. You racist? You deserve to die. Are you a little too based? Dig your own hole, capitalist pig. But that's the idea. Your death is justified if you're a wee bit racist. Insanity ushered by the left. And of course, how can I forget St. Fentanyl of Floyd riots of 2020? Fists up. Thank God we got body cameras out of that. So awesome. Overall, just a retarded scene. Also reminds me, let's transition to the UK with the same idea here. Reminds me how a report came out. The police in the UK went back several years of Henry Nowak's messages to find anything racist. Why? Trying to cover your own ass? Once again, the UK is governed, ruled, and enforced by the biggest losers to walk the planet. They hate their own people. America would be justified in an on-ground invasion, and we would be greeted as liberators. It is just one of the saddest things what's going on in the UK. Small little pair of islands, incomparable to the United States, the empire of the West, but a small little pair of islands, which was once its own empire, is unfortunately just on a dark-ass timeline right now. Yeah, good thing Winston Churchill sacrificed the empire, right? That was a choice, by the way. Do a little history dive. You probably know that. At least we're not speaking German? Sorry. I can't understand you. I don't speak Arabic. I don't speak brown. Oh, you're not speaking German? No Deutsche? Pfft. Now, UK, your own police try to longhouse your language. Pathetic. Got to make sure he's not racist. Got to make sure maybe he's racist. We can get better PR with this. Fuck you. You're pathetic. And there's not much I can say to the Brits other than vote restore. You have to wait till 2029, though. That fucking sucks. I'm with you, UK. I want you to win. It's just grim when you see shit like this. It's just pathetic. You're ruled by fucking Browns, bro. I mean, you aren't. That's blackpilling. I apologize. I'm spurging out a little bit. You aren't ruled by Browns yet. And you can stop it. You can stop it. I know immediately after that, some of you were going to fire back with Zog. The rules were... Let's not do this. I'm sorry. It just angers me, and hopefully it angers you too, because it is fucked up. Okay? I'm going to try not to blackpill as much. All right? So, my bad. I love you. I love you, England. Scotland, I love you too. Northern Ireland, I love you too. Ireland. Oh, I'm not going to go into Ireland. Great people. Great people are in Ireland. Great drinks, great beer, great ale. Wonderful women. Can't forget it. No. Anyway, must be a day that ends in Y, because it's time to rip on ungrateful cockroach brown goyim Hasan Piker again. Yay! Let's watch this super funny video. Let's LOL. sure the audio is garbage. He's singing, the We Are Charlie Kirk song at a DSA deal. Oh, that's so funny. I almost spit out my HRT spiked beverage. Get it? Because Charlie Kirk is dead. Fucking faggots. Once again, proving myself right from last week. I do that a lot if you're new here. About how the left gets more fired up from the deaths of their enemies than they do from when they do good. Because they do little to no good. They destroy. We build. Simple. The left doesn't build shit. They want to tear America down. Thankfully, it is so bleak for the left that they're trying, this is what they get hyped up over. They're getting excited over Zoran talking about giving away free bike helmets, which has been a thing for decades now. I want to say 2007? Fact check me. I think it was 2007 when they did some bike helmet thing in NYC. Maybe the left thought he was talking about retard helmets, felt they were seen. That's possible. Don't want to throw that out of the possibilities. And again, they will never have a Charlie Kirk. The ideology prohibits it. They hate that reality. They do. And I'm not going to Fed post about Hasan, at least on the air. But the left has nobody to where their death would be as consequential as Charlie Kirk's. They have nobody like that. Nobody is worth killing on the left. They're all losers. We can just wait for Hasan to be deported, which I'm going to get back into. But what is interesting is how the left has different reactions to this. This is where I have my kicks, where I get my sick kicks. Let's go to this fuckhead going, fine, this is fine. Why are Dems mad at this? To no one's surprise, of course he is. He's brown. He's DSA qualified. Not certified, but qualified, because he's a Brit, apparently. Yeah, UK, this is your guy. In addition, he's beefing with Bill Maher here, which is so good. 2028 Dem infighting will include leftist Jews versus Muslims. That'll be on the fight card. Do not forget, that's going to be one of the best fucking ones. I can't wait for that. I know it's hard for me to go a single week without talking about 2028 and Democrat leftist infighting, but it's hard not to get riled up. Speaking of, we got more. Others are realizing how bad this is and are trying to claim that he's a plant with this kid going, this dude is a right-wing psyop. So good. So good. Gets me riled up. And this was at a DSA event, by the way. Let's get a good look at these folks. Look at this. The DSA, the direction the Democrat Party is going right now. Yeah. And as you can see here, from the crowd, part of the crowd, obviously this is only one little area, but they're all fat, brown, or feminine. That's the platform. If it's the party for you if you're chopped, a foreigner, or broke. I would say for women, but that will turn on them very quickly if they truly do obtain power. It's a vessel for the third world, and I promise you, the third world doesn't give two shits about women's rights. To no one's surprise. They will never admit this, though. They are too brainwashed to accept that fact. But hey, as I said, don't forget, Hasan is still under federal investigation from the fiasco in Cuba. Just please. Donald Trump. Benjamin Netanyahu. Hear you me. I'm going to astral project to Trump and Netanyahu right now. If you deport him to Israel, that'd be even better. Imagine if Hasan got deported to Palestine. You want to improve your approval rating, Trump? Deport Hasan. You'll be a champion. Run a third term. If you get rid of Hasan, 8 terms. I don't care. Please, give him to Netanyahu. Oh yeah, and completely unrelated, here is a Muslim lady trying to bomb the capital of New York in Albany. Completely unrelated. This is the future of the Democratic Party. Again, it's hard not to mention it every week. They're so fucked. Oh, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Get excited. Remember, this is a common talking point among young Gen Z right-wingers. The most important part is that you had fun. Have fun, okay? Anyway, that's all I got for you today. I appreciate you for joining me. I'll be back next weekend. Follow us at Debateless, Instagram, X, Facebook, TikTok. Subscribe if you like what you saw here, YouTube and Rumble. And of course, check out Matt Forney's newest episode, Neon White Rabbit, going into the H1Bs. I was considering talking about this, but they do it plenty. They cover it plenty. Also, the Spain ordeal with, like, there was a report where they're like, oh, most of the migrants are gone, 80 to 90%. Literally reports of them eating cats and dogs and birds. It was cats and birds, I think, which fucking gross. I didn't really have too much to add on that, though. It's like, yep, that's great replacement going on. That's crazy. It's wild. Maybe if other ordeals pop up, if other events pop up in that area, I'll dive into it. Anyway, I'm rambling. Check out Forney's interview. It's a good time. Have a great week. And of course, stay blessed.